Yes, nonsense and analysis. Hi, dear viewer. So here we are again, and we are going to profile a game that Raphael Felix, the youngster, up and coming youngster, talent from South Africa, and he's playing lots of tournaments overseas, which is excellent. And this game that we're going to profile, he played against the Grandmaster from Montenegro by the name of Dennis Kadric. So, um, yeah, let's have a look at the game. So, Raphael Felix was playing with the white pieces. I think it was the first round of the Open. Uh, it plays e4, d6, d4, knight f6, knight c3, e5. Okay, this variation. There are many ways to meet it. Possibly the most logical way is to play knight f3 and after knight b d7 to play bishop c4 like this, and white holds small advantage. Well, that is theoretical, but nothing major. So Raphael decided to exchange on e5 and play queen takes d8, king takes d8. Yeah, it's for me a surprising option. Because as a youngster, you don't want to necessarily go to a very technical position against a stronger player. So my guess would be that this possibly surprised him and he wasn't feeling prepared. So he decided that he would rather go into, um, shall we say, a simpler position. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, he plays bishop c4, and in this position, there are many moves. King e8 or bishop e6 is the move. Bishop e6 is much more played, and his opponent played bishop b4. I must admit, I haven't really seen much of bishop b4, but okay, it's a logical move in a sense that black is threatening to take right on e4. So. He plays bishop d2, which is a very, very logical and good move. Because now what White is saying is that if you take on c3, I will take back with my bishop, and I'll be attacking your pawn on e5, and I have the two bishops. Notice that knight takes, bishop takes, rook e8 is not going to be anything, right? Because White will castle long, say check, and get out of this pattern. So in the game, the opponent played king e7, which is a very logical way to play. So what is black trying to do? Well, black is trying to simply, since black has defended the pawn on f7, black will play moves like c6 to keep hold of the pawn, sorry, the square on d5. Uh, and then possibly black would move his knight maybe to a6 to c5, put pressure on e4, something like this, right? And okay, 92 was played. It's not a bad move because he wants to overprotect the knight so that he can, in some positions, move the bishop. It's not a bad move at all. And the knight on e2 is quite flexible because the knight will go to g3, right? So I like this move, knight e2, interesting idea, because you have to be careful because yeah, you still have to regroup your pieces. So c6 as expected. Yeah, I don't like castling king side. I don't like it at all because it's an endgame, and in an endgame, the king becomes an extra piece. So if you are going to castle, then rather castle queen side. This would be more logical because the king will enter the center much easier than if the king is on g1, right? But we can also continue with our plan. Remember that bishop d2 was played not fearing bishop takes c3 because the pawn on e5 was hanging. We can still continue and play a3. I like this also idea. Just play a3, and then black must move the bishop. And as soon as black moves the bishop, then white can castle long, and white will hold definitely small advantage. Small advantage, yeah. Castles short a5. Okay, a5 is more or less cutting out any. You can see that he's worried about these A3 ideas. He's cutting out any ideas of some B4s or whatever A3 before. And knight G3. Okay, it's fine. Developing the pieces. The opponent plays rook to D8 and bishop G5. I'm not crazy about bishop G5. To me, this what Raphael Felix is playing is more of a middle game plan. Imagine if this was a middle game. Okay, if it was a middle game, the king, this would be just lost. I mean, if let's say we put a queen on E2, but let's say the king is on G8, knight on D7. Yeah, then these are the type of moves that are fine. No? In terms of, the bishop goes to G3, the knight may land on F5 in some positions. We may play F4 in this position. F4 is anti-positional because it would weaken the pawn on E4, but if you are able to attack, I'm talking about a middle game, right? If you're able to attack, then it balances out because you get the dynamic elements in, your rook would get into the game, and maybe you could double in the F file, things like that. But now in this end game, I'm not a fan. It takes on F6, and then the opponent took back with the pawn. But I was analyzing, king takes is also possible. F4, there's just a lot to calculate. I think the opponent didn't want to get into calculation, but bishop E6 solves black's problem. If you play F takes E5 check, I will take with my king, and look at how powerful the king is. Yeah? Remember, in the end game, the king is an extra piece. The king will be very strong on E5. And if you play knight H5 check, I could play back king E7, and take back with the pawn. And this is just fine for black, yeah. Uh, um, because well, white is in the game still, but white has got knight against bishop. In this position, the bishop should be slightly better. But so yeah, so as I mentioned, I'm not a big fan of bishop g5, but okay, after h6, g6, g6 is also good, by the way, because now what is the problem? Well, every time you exchange a bishop and the opponent has got two bishops, the problem is that the squares which your bishop is not going to be able to defend are going to be a problem. So in this position, white is definitely going to have a problem on the black squares. This is the problem, yeah. Black squares are going to be an issue in this game because there is no black square bishop. So he plays rook d1, bishop takes. Yes, rook d1, I'm not a fan also as of. Uh, yeah, here, I mean, I think, the youngster still has a lot of work to do on his positional play. And this game just shows it, I mean, maybe move the knight d1, is something I would consider. To move my knight to e3 and try to go to f5. Rook d2, I'm not worried about because I can play bishop d3, then or knight e3 directly, excuse me, and then rook d1 should be fine, yeah. So after knight d1, I don't know, black possibly has to play bishop c5, but then I would consider maybe knight e3, yeah. But I'm playing just to equalize now as white. I don't think I have more, and possibly black can take on e3, f takes e3, and we're slowly going towards a draw because I think black must be careful that I cannot attack f6 here. Possibly black would have to play rook d2, something like this. Yeah. And white might have to play rook f2, and then it should lead to a draw somehow. Yes, so I don't like rook d1 because it allows bishop takes c3. And now, yeah, black is having some issues because what is the difference between black's double pawn? I mean, white is having issues, excuse me, because what is the difference between white's double pawn here and black's double pawn? The difference is that black's double pawns are central, compact, and black will play moves like bishop to e6, for an example, because if you take them, the pawns will strengthen the center, and black is ready to play moves like f5 in some positions. So, well, black is better here. Yeah? Okay. He plays king e7, f4. Yeah, it's a desperation. It's a desperate move, I think, f4, because I wouldn't play f4. F4 is more like a move you play if you're playing with player, hoping that you would get to F7, but a strong player will neutralize this. So I would not play a move like F4. I think F4 weakens the position further. The thing is that in the end game, pawns, okay, the youngster would learn as time goes on, but the rule generally is that you don't push pawns too much because they cannot move backwards. So yeah, occupy the d file, bring the king into the game, rook d1, king f1, king e2, and white should be able to hold a draw, but with difficulty, but nonetheless should. F4, I don't think white should be able to hold a draw now in this position. Okay, b5 is a good move. A very obvious move because after f4, white is going for tactics to attack f7, yeah, but white is not going to get these tactics. And now knight a6 is a powerful move. When now the knight is coming to c5. And once the knight lands on c5, this is such a square is called an outpost. Very powerful because it will be attacking into the opponent's position. Excuse me. And we're still, when the knight lands on c5, it will be attacking the weak pawn on e4. Yeah, it looks bad for white. He plays knight f5, the knight is chopped. And e4, I don't know if e4 is necessary. I think knight c5 is just a very strong move in this position. Yeah, just knight c5 and a nightmare position for white. Yeah, I will play rook d8 and I will swap rooks if need be. And once the rooks are gone, there will be some knight e4 threats, and it's a bad position for white. So black plays e4, still okay, but it's not necessary this move e4 because it's in the opponent's territory and white has got a wide square bishop, and maybe he didn't evaluate a4. Now white gets into the game, and we see again. You see now he cannot play knight c5 because he drops the pawn. If he had played here knight c5, everything is in order, and black should go on to win the game quite comfortably, if I may say so. Because now if you play bishop f3, I will play e4. Wait, can you play rook e1? Maybe bishop e3, e4, rook e1, yes? So bishop f3, maybe you can pin my knight, right? But I don't have to panic. I can also first just defend the pawn. Let's say rook c8, right? And then I will improve my position. Knight a4 or things like this can be played. I think that black is just comfortable. Anyway, in this position, he played e4, a4, and now I like the way that Raphael Felix played. He started to fight, yeah, knight d5. And here it's passed into me why black played knight c3, just knight f4, and the position is still difficult for white, possibly still lost. Yeah, rook f8. And play like this and take on a4. This should win for black as well. Because white would have to play c5 check, and then king takes c5, rook takes a4, king b5, and yeah, black is winning this easily, yeah? Because black will cut off, once the rook moves, I will cut off the king, yeah? I'll play rook e7, and then I will shepherd my pawn with my king and also bring the other guy in, and it's an easy win. So yes, yeah, I think here he was practically doing the right thing, fighting and kicking around, but still shouldn't be able to escape here. Yeah, black is having a very good position. Okay, black plays knight c3, and I'm not sure what black misses because it's clear in this position that white will gobble up the sum of the pawns and will sacrifice the bishop for the pawn, right? So this is pretty clear. So as I say, I'm not 100% sure what for example, like this, if you played a2, then you take and play rook e4, as I mentioned before. This should be a draw. But I will play rook e6, I'll play h4, then g5, liquidate everything. And worst comes to worst for white, you'll be left with rook and knight against king, which is an easy draw. So it was bad technique from the grandmaster from Montenegro for whatever reason here. Dennis Kadric. So yeah. He plays knight b5, bishop a2, and Raphael Felix plays it properly, understanding that he's going to give the bishop for the pawn. So here we are, and it is this is a draw. The king is too far, and the king is very active here. Play this nicely, but sort of he was given a get out of jail card. Yeah, this should be a draw. Just have to make sure you're not plundering anything. That's that. Yeah, transport is to be a draw. Yeah. So a very nice game. I think a very important lesson for the youngster. These are the kind of games that he has to play. And he will definitely improve very quickly. His end game play, he needs to study his end game. His end game play was not so good. His decisions, he was playing the end game like it's a middle game, castling, moving the king away from the center, and you know, and uh, yeah, his plans. I mean, f4, weakening the pawn on e4, very much middle game type of play. But we all start there. We all play and learn. And he was lucky that, not lucky, but he was lucky that the opponent didn't play so well. But what I mean is that he showed some character and he fought and he understood the drawing idea, which was to sacrifice the bishop, right? Not to hold on to material and then liquidate the king side. So yes, very nice, a very good draw. I think possibly this is the highest player that he scores against. I mean, guy has got like 25 over 2,500. Uh, and very good result. Okay, nice. And I hope he goes on and continues playing. And good luck to him. And may he learn and may he keep motivated. And yeah, till next time, what I will say is checkmate.